Do it together.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Antisocial Butterfly Podcast. We are here to inspire dreams and help you spread your wings to fly. Baby girl, it's okay to be shy. But now it's time to kiss fear goodbye.
Hello. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Antisocial Butterfly Podcast. I'm your host, Lissy Correa. You guys are in for a treat for this week's episode. I told you we were going to bring back my all-time favorite returning guest, my one and only Freddy Correa.
And we're back. All right, go.
I did miss that.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
I'm going to sing a song for you.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to Antisocial Butterfly. Woo! You are a guest on my podcast.
That's right.
So that's why I had to at least do a little welcome and a little thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Another plug.
This one's officially on the podcast.
A lot of people have been asking, when is Thanks for the Invite podcast coming back? When is it coming back? I'm like, ask Freddy.
I have been asked by like 3 people. No.
I've been asked by more.
No, I'm joking, of course, but people have asked me what happened, and I said I wanted to make the transition to video, and there were some goals on the last episode that we did together. We did a swapcast. Mm-hmm. And if you go to Thanks for the Invite podcast, I don't remember what episode it was, what number, but one of the goals was to start a Spanish podcast. This was at the end of January, and then I was going to start it in February, and then also I was going to do a transition to video. I actually recorded about 4 podcasts with Sammy Solorio. I did one with Dave Nunez, Gabe Nolasco, Jay Rivera. They're all ready to go.
Oh, you haven't released those yet?
I haven't released them. So when we come back, which I want to do it as soon as possible, now that we have a nice setup. I mean, we're in our kitchen, but I love this table.
It can be anywhere.
Yeah, it's just about doing the content, right? So finally, coming around, getting to it, it's like, I can't wait to do the video transition finally from audio. We're still going to have the audio podcast, but we're going to have video. So this was all supposed to happen in February. But of course, as some of the listeners or people we have on social media, as they know, can I have a little bit of your iced tea?
Yes, of course. We need to give a quick shout out to our sponsor this week, Too Faced Cosmetics. I absolutely love everything about the Born This Way collection. So when I saw that they added this new concealer, I was so intrigued. This concealer is available in 18 shades. The color that I have on right now is called Pecan. And they also sent me this color called Butter Croissant. This is vegan, cruelty-free. It locks down for 24 hours, improves the appearance of dark circles, diminishes signs of fatigue. This concealer is a buttery serum light concealer, brightens and adds luminosity. What I love about this, it also has a lot of great ingredients such as hyaluronic acid. With other concealers, they tend to crease around my eyes, but not this one. So for all my antisocial butterflies out there that live in a dry place like myself, you are probably going to love this concealer right here. Make sure you head over to Too Faced Cosmetics online to check out all their amazing products, and you can also find them in Sephora or Ulta. Thank you, Too Faced Cosmetics, for sending over this product your way and for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into this week's episode with Freddy Correa. Oh,
Sorry.
Dios mío.
I should have a cough button. I haven't podcasted since January. Oh my God.
Well, I'm with you there because usually when I do my podcast with other guests, it's all been virtual or it's by myself, and I edit those kind of stuff, like the coughs, the pauses, the unnecessary stuff that me as a perfectionist doesn't want out there.
Yeah.
So this is actually, since with you,
You're gonna leave that cough in
been
there.
like a long form where it's just whatever it's in there, it's in there.
Cool.
So I'm a little nervous too.
I'm looking forward to re-listening to that cough. That was the weakest cough calf. All right, you can edit that part.
Hi, cutie.
But I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't realize. Yeah, you haven't had a face-to-face episode yet. So I'm the first face-to-face episode on video.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Not going to be the last.
No,
but you
yeah.
are always the kickoff to all of my exciting projects.
Well, eventually what we want to do is have a spot where we record. Even if we record here, I would like to maybe in the future have this nice little background we could put up, you know. And it's I love this table. This table was made for
podcasting.
It was made for podcasting. We have comfortable chairs.
Maybe not the chairs so much, because these are white or beige, whatever you want to call them, chairs. And although they're very comfortable, they're beautiful.
They have buttons. I like them.
No, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
However, people can be
if we have
messy
guests,
and clumsy.
Yeah, you're right. We might have to.
These will get dirty so fast.
Since this is a tall table, we might need like a drafting chair, like those tall ones.
Yes.
Yeah, we might have to go with something like that. But anyway, as some of the listeners and friends we have on social media may know already, back in February, like right in the beginning of the month, my dad passed away, and I was in the middle of like I said, I had already recorded episodes, and it was just one of those things where it just hit me really hard. And I'm doing way better now. Every once in a while it hits me, and you get those sad moments. Sometimes I'm driving and tears will come out, but it's just what they say, time heals. It helps, so but I think it was necessary to take that break, and at the same time, what I refused to do was take a break from comedy. I didn't take any break from comedy. I kept recording. Recording my sets, but I kept doing comedy and tried to develop and make what I have already stronger.
And you've been getting so much comfortable on stage.
Thank you.
I mean, I've seen you perform since day one.
Right.
And in the last year, since you've had more time to focus on your craft,
Mm-hmm.
and not that you can't do that with podcasting in the future, that you can still get great at comedy and do podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
However, sometimes having extra time to devote to a project, you're just going to get better because you have now more time to really focus.
Yeah. And the part about podcasting is that, not to go into so much of how the sausage is made, but, this is the fun part to me. I don't know. You like editing, but to me, the fun part is recording a podcast, having a conversation. And then, but then before that, there's the prep, everything I did today to set up the microphones.
That was not the fun part.
To hide the wires. No, actually, to me, that's the fun part.
Oh, really? That didn't look like fun to you.
No.
You look like you were stressing.
I don't like to be hot. Okay, I'm overweight.
Well, I can't control that.
I wish I had a fan. If I would have had a fan, I could have controlled the situation, but I didn't. If I had a fan pointing at my face, I would have been good. But but I do like setting up wires and making everything look neat. Next time I'm going to use black Velcro. But
yeah, there's always going to be things we see back and we're going to change.
There's things that go into making a podcast. There's the prep work, there's the recording part, and then the post work, the editing part, the uploading, the thinking of what tags to use, what description. That's all the time consuming thing that I just literally, it happened with my dad passing. That could, that was huge. But at the same time, work-life balance was not really happening. I was working a lot on, my day job. So I had to choose, am I going to take a break from comedy as well, even though I had all this depression and all that? And I'm like, no, I got to continue doing comedy. For now, I'm just going to take a break from the podcast. And I think it's all good. It's all worked out,
We've had a friend that comes to mind. I'm not going to mention their name, but they went through a separation and death.
Mm-hmm.
And they used comedy as a healing tool. Maybe he let go of some other things like you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was you leaving comedy too,
it could have
been okay too. It's like you process things
in
your own way, and for you, comedy was like, no, I'm not letting that go right now.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, to me, when it comes down to the heart of what is my passion, when it comes to art, I love podcasting. And that's one of my favorite things. But comedy is my baby. Comedy is what, it's the craft that I've been developing on my own. Nobody's a guest on my comedy set. It's just me. And it's just me working out material to try to make people laugh. And when they say comedy heals, like laughter heals, in a selfish way, me watching people laugh healed me. It helped me in those little moments. That helps me. And I say selfish way because, and other comics might say the same thing. I've heard them say the same thing. We do this for selfish reasons. We like attention. We like the laughter, but those times that people do come up to you after a show and they say they're going through something and that they really enjoyed the show and this helped them a lot, that's a really great satisfaction. Again, selfish.
I can see where it's selfish, but I feel like with anything that you devote your career and time to, not everyone, but most of the time it is because of selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Selfishly, sure. Why did I want to become a doctor all my life? Mm-hmm. I could say it was to help people, to save lives, and of course that was part of it too. But selfishly, the primary reason was this is going to pay me a lot of money.
Right. Yeah. I'm
going to get recognition. People are going to think I'm a badass. My parents are going to be proud of me. That was probably, those first two were probably in the bottom of the list. Mm-hmm. Why do other people do things? Because selfishly they want to get that recognition, get the coin. Not all of people. And that's where I feel like makeup and comedy for us was a little different, maybe because it wasn't money that drove us to do these things. We did it primarily because of passion. And if yours was to, I'm just selfishly going to make people laugh.
Because it helps me. Yeah.
It's perspective, though. You're helping people, too, who may be going through something similar to you. Yeah. And they're trying to escape by having, some laughter in their life.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe selfish people might think that it's the wrong word. Maybe it is the wrong word. But because selfish has the implication that you care not about anybody else. Like, you don't care about anybody else. It has that implication. We have that word has very negative connotation towards it, right? Kind of like the word ambitious. In Spanish, if you say ambicioso.
Envioso?
Oh. Ambicioso.
Oh.
Like ambition?
Did I just make up a word in Spanish? Envioso. I think I did.
I think so.
Don't come at me. I'm still learning.
It was like a mix of vicioso, like somebody has a vice, what you said. Vicioso. Vicioso is a word.
No.
Vicioso. Vicioso, somebody has like vices.
Envious.
Like
So how do you say envious?
Envious. Envidioso.
That's maybe the word I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but ambition is ambicioso. But when people hear the word, es muy ambicioso. He's very ambitious. In Spanish, in the Spanish world, the word has a negative connotation. It sounds, it's for somebody that really just, he's into money or she, they're all about, success, but for them. But in English, that word ambitious, you have to have ambition. You have to have, to be successful, it's a positive thing.
Do you think it's perspective though a little bit?
I think so.
Because if you're talking to the outsider looking at that person who is hustling, they're gonna think, oh, he's selfish,
Right?
Because whatever reason he doesn't do this, he doesn't hang out with his family. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, cutie. She wants to say hi to everybody. So since this is video and all my audio listeners, I have Cutie, our daughter, our puppy, who is also a guest on the podcast. So she is standing up right now. Oh, and kissing me. Thank you, Mama. And yawning in my face. Thank you.
Part of the reason we have Cuties because we're selfish. We want to have a dog for
perspective.
ourselves.
People can say we don't have kids because we're selfish as well,
of
right?
course.
But
and that's very true. I do not have kids because I like my own time.
So it's perspective.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is that people can look at someone who's doing their thing as being selfish, but maybe another outsider can look at him, that same person,
right,
and just say that they're just focused, they're driven, and they're just doing their thing.
Yeah.
But people say, oh, doing your thing and you're not involving others or being around, that's selfish. Again, that's perspective. But what you just talked about earlier, you need that a little bit. I think you need to be selfish,
right,
ambitious to get to the top, because if you talk to any celebrity, any successful person, and it doesn't have to be a person who is known, they're all going to tell you that they had to, in a sense, get away a little bit from the outside, get in their lane, and just focus until they reach a goal. Now, balance, we all go to balance, right? It's really how you're going to devote your time and spend time with others. But I go back, it's all perspective.
I guess it is. And I don't know, maybe selfish is not the right word.
What does selfish mean? Did you look it up in the dictionary?
Yeah, I just looked it up. So here's one of the definitions. Let me...
Maybe that could be the title of the podcast. Are we selfish or just ambitious?
Oh, you know what? Just selfish.
We're selfish.
That's catchy. Selfish.
Just selfish?
Or how about
Shellfish?
shellfish?
I
Shellfish.
already heard myself saying.
Are you shellfish? All right, so here's from Merriam-Webster. Selfish. Adjective.
Isn't that a noun? Because it could be a person.
Let me see.
Selfish.
Okay, you thought he was going to give you the whole definition?
No, I just wanted... I like hearing him pronounce it when you do a definition.
Oh.
You know how a spelling bee, you say the word, you spell it, and then you say it again. Anyway,
MJ also wants to be in the podcast.
MJ is selfless because he just cares about protecting us. So, here we go. Concern excessively or exclusively with oneself, seeking or concentrating on one's own advantage, pleasure, or well-being without regard for others. That's one example.
Okay, that part, without regard for others, sounds already negative.
Yeah, that one's negative.
The first part you just said, I'm like, yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to be focused. You got to be... Because all about this year for me, or last 2 years, has been really about self-care. And I think with having self-care and loving yourself is being selfish, because you have to think about yourself first.
It's kind of one of the things you hear, right? You keep hearing people say, you got to love yourself first.
Always. Right? They always say, if you want to, on the plane, always with emergencies, take care of you first before you can take care of others.
Right.
So why do then, when we start doing that, when we are working out, when we are doing things, when we were saying no to a commitment because maybe that's going to take us away from something that's going to improve us as humans, then people look at us now as, you're selfish.
Well, I think the part where it could come across as, oh, I forgot to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to need that. So don't edit that part.
That's going to be my intro.
I got to sing.
Can we do it together?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'll show you how to edit that part. You find the little spikes and then you move them. Anyway,
Okay.
I think this is the part where it becomes negative. The last part, where it says, you know, you don't care about the well-being without regard for others. So the part where you lose or where you lack empathy for other people, that's the part where then selfish could become that negative word that we all know, where it's somebody that's self-centered, sociopath or a narcissist. You know, there's a difference. They're very close. You know, now psychopath and sociopath. I've listened to the definition of both of them several times, and then people use them interchangeably. I don't have a laptop, so otherwise I would look them up. But there's actually some really good YouTube videos that talk about narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, and how to spot one, you know, and then each one of those has different kinds. Like there's different kind of narcissists, you know.
No, I don't know.
There's the kind that they let it be known that it's all about them and they don't give a shit about you.
That's not me.
And then there's also the narcissists that they're always like, like I'll give you an example. That movie Office Space. Mm-hmm. The guy is like, my stapler. Nobody wants my stapler. Everything's about him. He's always complaining.
Ooh, that girl in that recent show that we're watching, 60 Days in Prison.
Yes, 60 Days in.
Great show if you guys want to watch one.
That's a great new series, or I guess, I don't know, it's been around, but one of the seasons is on
the
Netflix.
Latest season is
60
current.
Days in, and there's this girl that she can't eat, you know, gluten.
She's gluten sensitive.
Yeah, she's very sensitive. She's trying to, but all she talks is about herself, and she's complaining.
Yes.
That's another.
And she's unaware, though. I feel like with those two people you just described, yes, it's all about them, but it's almost like they're unaware.
Mm-hmm. They're unaware that
they like live in their own little world, and they don't even know what they're voicing out is purely just like about them.
Right. Yeah, and I know comics like that. When you hear somebody, the term, oh, they have a chip on their shoulder, because they're always complaining about, oh, look at this guy, he thinks he's like, you know, that kind of thing. So there's people that I haven't like cut out completely, but I avoid conversations because all they want to do is talk about, you know. So sometimes when we're at the club, they start giving me an ear beating. I try to figure out ways to get out of it, but it's hard. It's an art. You have to figure out how to get out of an ear beating. It's like jiu-jitsu, I would say. But
so to be not a comic, but in your world, what do you feel like in your comic world you experience most? People who are ambitious, narcissists. Like, what do you feel like in your 10 years? Is it 10 or 11 now of doing comedy? 11 years?
Yeah.
Would you find that most comics in your 10 years, and this could be not just Vegas, I mean, you started comedy in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have to have a little bit of course, ambitious to be a successful comic, but not the other ones?
Felipe Esparza told me also you have to have some delusion. You got to be a little delusional in a way, because you kind of got to aspire. It's kind of like that whole reach for the stars kind of thing. But in the time I've done comedy, I've seen a lot of people, and you know, most of my comedy life has been in Vegas. When we moved to Vegas, I was only a year in to comedy. Now we turned 10 years.
Wow, baby.
So I'm a Vegas comic. At first, I was a Reno comic. I started in Reno.
That's so true.
Yeah. But
you were just a baby in comedy starting here.
Yeah. So, of course, in Vegas, I had my own open mic at one point. I was running it with this other guy. And you see, we've had different people come in. I've hung out in different open mics and different comedy clubs. You get them from all walks of life. You get you get some lunatics, you know.
It's just like anywhere you go.
Just like anywhere. So, you get all kinds of people. Then you get sweethearts, people that actually genuinely care about you. And you get some cool people that are funny. They're cool to hang out. But as soon as like, I've noticed it. And I've had some of them on the podcast that as soon as you start saying anything, they look away and they're talking. They're
in another world. They're not
no,
even listening.
they don't care. It's only about what's going on with them.
I can't stand those people. I'm sorry. If you're that type of person, you need to recognize and self-develop yourself, because that's not cute.
They don't even know it. I observe. I love to observe people. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't know what those two words are. But I like to study people in my own, and I like to watch some people. And sometimes you watch somebody, they'll be talking to you about their stuff. And then the booker will come up, Matt will come up right next to me.
Bye.
And no.
Oh.
No. All of a sudden it's like, fuck me. I'm talking to this guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Bye to you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
going to now direct my attention to this person.
Yeah, it's like the hot girl.
They don't even care to close out the loop with your conversation out of respect. Because that's just me. What I would do if I don't care who anybody is, what title you hold. I keep trying to look at the camera. So I don't care what title you hold. That's always been me. We're the same level.
Yeah.
So, yes, if a certain manager comes in, I'm going to recognize he's approaching me. Oh, hey. But I'll quickly, politely close the loop out of this conversation and say, okay, well, hey, talk to you later. Or something along the line.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I've experienced that myself with people.
And
they just don't notice.
Maybe I've done it.
True, I've maybe probably done it too. Of course.
And I like to get called out on stuff. I like to call people out. If I care about them, I'll say stuff. But But I'm pretty sure I've done it too.
Yeah, you're right. There's people haven't called me out on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned about delusion, that Felipe Esparza told you have to have
a
little bit of that to be successful in this field, or maybe in any field.
Yeah.
Did you have that because you did comedy in Spanish in Mexico for the first time? Did you have some sort of delusion thinking that you could try that out for the first time and be successful?
Yeah, that's 100% yes, because that's one of the things. That's one of the goals, right? Back in January, I wanted also to do Spanish comedy, and yeah, that was definitely a delusion. I still have, I would say, but once I did it,
But you did it.
Yeah,
if you didn't have that delusion,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
you wouldn't even have attempted to try it out.
Yeah.
Can you share with me, or the listeners, how that even came about? Like what you did to even have that opportunity to do Spanish to do comedy in Spanish, but not just comedy in Spanish. Because you did try that here in Vegas one time.
Yeah.
This was a whole different ballgame.
It was at a comedy club with actual.
This was
crowd with an actual crowd.
And where? In
Mexico City at El Woco, which is like, I guess, first of all, it's a beautiful club, but I didn't know because I'm not involved in the scene, but it's like the Comedy Store of Mexico, of the comedy scene. And my really good friend Sam Butler, I told him I was going to Mexico if he knew any places I could probably perform. And he's like, I'm actually going to be there that week.
What are the odds of that?
It's crazy.
Like it could have been the weekend before.
Yeah.
Or the weekend after that we decided to go to Mexico City.
Yeah.
But no, that exact month, that exact weekend.
Yeah.
He was going to be going.
Well, it's like, it could be those kind of things, synchronicities. Like the universe, you have, like the law of vibration. The law of vibration, attraction, there's different terms for it. When you put something out into the universe, I don't know. Is it a religion? Is it scientific? I don't know what it is, but things happen. It's weird. And then he's like, because you're going to be there, I'm going to put a show together. And he has a great following for the listeners and people watching this episode. Look up Sam Butler and type in the shit podcast or Está Cagado. Actually, it's spelled S-T-A Cagado. Está Cagado.
Está Cagado. You know how I found your guys' episode? Because
how was that?
You did an episode with Sam Butler.
Yes, last year.
And when I was looking it up on YouTube, I know him as Tu Amigo Sam.
Yes.
So I typed that on YouTube and then your name, Freddy Correa. And it came up. And it's actually, because I wrote it down in my notes, episode 68 on Sam Butler's podcast.
Yeah.
The one that you just mentioned. I can't pronounce it. What is it? Estás cagado.
It's like está cagado, but está cagado. Está cagado. The way you spell it is, he's doing it like a slang. It's está cagado, but he spells it está cagado. Está.
I don't know.
Está. Just S-T-A. Está.
It's like, the same.
It's like
no E-S-T-A.
No E.
Oh.
Está. Está.
Okay.
Like stop it.
Está cagado.
Está cagado. That's how he spells it. That's what's
okay. Well, you were on that one. You were on that podcast with him on episode 68, and check it out. It's a great episode. You guys talk about tacos, and I was reading the comments because this is the first time I actually, after you guys did the episode. Now it's been almost a year. I think it's been 11 months. I saw the last comment from when you guys aired it.
It was in October or something. Yeah. And a lot of people, the comments are funny. I always love reading comments, but people were saying great things about the episode, that you guys were making them crave a certain kind of item of food. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about, sorry to interrupt, but the cool thing about Sam's podcast, he does a episode 10 to 20 minutes around there. We ended up going like 30. But he focuses on one topic. And he does really good research. And the episode we did was about tacos. How did the taco come about? So he does the history, the tortilla, how it got, what kind of masa. How do you say masa?
How's it masa? And even in English? I don't know.
The flour.
Oh,
yeah, the flour or the...
Oh, my goodness.
The corn, to make the mix.
Yeah.
To create the tortilla. And... all those ingredients are very important, and he went into detail on that. So all those comments, I haven't seen them.
Yeah, some of them are so funny.
Yeah,
because there's some people who have some sort of pride.
Yeah.
About their culture, and I have this. I the same thing, I guess, for American culture. But this is the reason why I'm afraid to speak Spanish, because of some of the comments that I read, because they're so prideful about. Some of them were calling you gringos. They're like, this is so funny how gringos are talking about the culture of a taco. And so I'm like, damn, that was just one. But the rest were saying, man, they're making me crave tacos. Like, oh, I didn't know about all these kinds of tacos. Oh, I'm in the shit like hole right now. And I'm now going to crave tacos when I get out. Yeah. So most of them were positive, but just, of course, just that one. And he didn't even seem negative, because he even said, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
This is funny. Why, low key, I'm fearful of speaking Spanish, because you're going to have, those people who were born there, and they hear me knowing that I'm American, they pocha, whatever the term is, gringa. We were called gringos in Mexico City. They called you a gringo. I'm like, okay, I understand if I'm a gringa, but I'm a gringo. Okay.
Our Uber driver called me a gringo.
Yeah, your Uber driver. It wasn't on the way to the comedy show, or maybe it was it. I don't know.
It was one of those.
Yeah. But it was just that one comment.
Well, first of all, that's why you should never be afraid of doing let's say if you want to do a Spanish podcast or something, like we talked about a guest that you might have, you might do a Spanish episode. First of all, I know marketing, you want to promote and you want people to comment and you want to respond to the comments, but I don't know. Everybody's different. Me personally, I don't want to read the comments. I don't, there's, you just set it and forget it. Like kind of, what Rogan says when Rogan puts up something on Instagram. Of course, Rogan is the biggest podcaster in the world. But it's good advice. You just post something, let it go, set it, post and release. Yeah, post and release.
When they're trying to build a brand, they're trying to sell something, and they really are trying to gauge their responses to see, oh, maybe I'm gonna not do this color. Like for example, if you're a lipstick company and you're not getting great feedback on.
Yeah.
But it's if you're reading the comments for another purpose.
Yeah.
It's all about intention.
Yeah.
Why are you reading the comments? I read it for entertainment, not my comments, other people's videos comments. It's more entertainment. What is my purpose looking into the comments? Just like what is my purpose going into this platform, Instagram, Facebook? It should always be everyone's mind when they go open a platform, because now it's like we're programmed to, when we see an app, we open it and we do this aimless scroll and we're like, oh my gosh, it's been 15 minutes and what did I get productive out here? Now I feel empty. I feel FOMO. I feel jealousy. Not everyone, but that's what happens when you're just aimlessly scrolling sometimes with no defined purpose. So that's for comments. For me, it's just, I want to get a laugh. It's just entertainment.
Well, if you're reading other people's comments.
Other people's, yes, but your own.
I guess I was talking about my own. Like if I was like, once I start doing the video podcast, you know, they always say YouTube comments are some of the worst. I've had some videos that have gone viral, and they're pretty fucking savage. The comments. So I remember. You're right. Yeah. Remember one of the videos where the guy gets kicked in the chest. You were getting a little bit upset from the comments that were saying, because they thought I was the guy kicking I was just the guy recording it, and you too from the back. Yeah,
throw me in there.
Well, yeah, you were the camera.
It wasn't just me recording.
You were camera one. I'll give you credit, but there was a lot of comments that were like, "Ha ha, that guy deserved it," and then people saying, "Oh, that was messed up. Why are you trying to go viral off of this?" Or, you know, and they don't know the backstory, that the guy that got kicked was actually going to try to attack the guy with the microphone. You know, for the people that don't know, look up heckler gets kicked by comedian. You'll see that video.
It really went viral. It ended up going on MTV's ridiculousness show.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And but those comments, for example, because it was my video, I don't read them. Maybe one day it'll be fun to read them just to get a laugh. But they were pretty savage on there. Especially, oh my God. If you go to World Star, somebody took it and re-uploaded it to World Star.
World Star, that was the other
one.
It
has over 1 million views on that one. And those comments, we can't read those. We just can't.
No, you're so right about the comments when it comes to your own post. That's where the Joe Rogan makes sense. Like, post and release. I don't know if he said that, but I got that from even someone else.
Yeah, other people
about how to have a mental healthy balance when it comes to social media. Is that post and release? Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
your art is your art. Don't validate yourself because of likes, comments.
Right.
You had that inner whatever creative desire, that idea for a purpose, and that should not translate with the comments. And the likes.
And it's not just, okay, now let's forget about the positive feedback or the negative feedback. There's something that I do myself, and I've been trying to stop doing it. When I post something, how many times do we go back? Oh, let's see who, because I have notifications turned off, but I go back and I refresh.
Raising my hand.
Yeah, and we refresh.
But I do it for a purpose, though.
Yeah, but we don't have to do it every 3 minutes, every 2 minutes.
Oh, no, not the refreshing.
So what I'm referring to, what I've been trying to do lately is when I post something, I'll wait a whole day sometimes, or maybe. But if yours is different. You're doing promotion, you're doing a makeup look, you have makeup products that you're promoting, and people are commenting. So
they say
different.
that as soon as you post in Instagram, I don't know about Facebook world, but in Instagram, because I look at videos of how to, essentially get more eyes on your content. Mm-hmm. And they say as soon as you post, engage, meaning
it helps with the algorithm and all that.
Go to your comments, even on the last photo, the comments, engage there. So the first moment I post a photo, I'm active on that
and platform. That's good. So it's with the exception of that. I'm referring to more like when I post something like a funny joke, I want to see if it bombed or not right away. Yeah. And sometimes it's better just to let it go. Who cares?
You know where that comes from, though? Your stand-up comedy. Your craft relies on immediate reaction from people.
Yeah.
So I think that's almost ingrained on you to whatever you say, whatever you do.
Yeah.
I have to get some sort of like immediate reaction to make it quote unquote successful.
I'm seeking the instant gratification.
Yes.
which is fine. But I caught myself just checking it constantly. And it's like, okay, there's no need to check every 2 minutes. Just let it go. Because then it's like what you said earlier. Where did all this time go? I just wasted 15 minutes. And for what? Where was this? All this? There's no point in doing all that. I don't have to. I'm not promoting a product. I don't have to engage with people. Now, let's take it a little bit further. Like, I'm not political, but remember every 4 years, people get very political and very passionate, and they'll post something, and they are waiting for somebody just to respond so that they could give their peace of mind. And next thing you know, you're not friends no more because you thought you were going to change each other's mind on Facebook.
That's never going to happen.
On comments.
It's never going to happen through Facebook, okay? I'm telling you now. Never going to happen. Maybe once in a blue moon, if depending how you speak to the person, but in my ears it doesn't happen.
But to go back to answer the question about the whole Spanish stand up, it was a great experience. But obviously in Vegas there's no comedy scene in Spanish. You need to have a comedy scene in Spanish. You need someone to start it. My friend Johnny Castillo, comic out here in Vegas, has been doing the Spanish shows, but that's all there is. Maybe in the future we might start an open mic and start getting a scene, because next thing you know, somebody's gonna be like, I could do that. I could be funnier, and they're gonna sign up. And then you have a scene.
It's always how it happens, huh?
Yeah, and that's how you start a scene. But you have to be consistent. You have to be dedicated. Me, I don't know. I could be part of it and help out, but I got so much things, like especially coming back to podcasting. You only have so many hours in a day, you know? And I also got to look out for the health and start, getting back into exercise. I wish I could do so many things, but, so will I continue to do Spanish comedy? I think in the future, yeah, that'd be cool. Was it awesome? It was a great experience.
What's one thing that you learned from it that maybe you can apply to your English comedy? Was there something?
There was a lot of things, I think, because when I was translating the jokes from English to Spanish, it's like it opened up the world to translate stuff back to English. Like there was some new ideas I thought of, which I did, and I applied them in recent sets from the Spanish set. So even there's some jokes that I do are like play on words, like a pun type of thing. They don't work in Spanish because it's not the same word and it's not going to work out. But I was happy with the set. Obviously, I go back and I'm very critical of my own stuff. But one thing I learned is that here's one thing I learned. Doing the 11 years of comedy helped me have the stage presence, because everybody told me, oh, you look like you were confident, you weren't nervous. They had no idea I was nervous as fuck. I was so nervous. I even got stuck with a few words. I can never
read your nervous. I mean, I can a little bit, but as an outsider pretending I don't know you, you look, like I said, you are getting very comfortable on stage. And maybe that did help, like what you just mentioned, having that energy, how you spoke, how you just presented yourself. It was very confident. And that is a big piece of being successful in comedy, on top of obviously having the jokes, is your stage presence. And you did great on that.
You know what I should do, because we don't have the scene here? Buddies of mine like Rafael Molina, which the guy I did the Spanish show in Vegas with Johnny Castillo.
Is that the first show you did? Because you did two shows that one night. You did it with Sam Butler, the second show.
No, I'm talking about the Vegas show.
Oh, the Vegas show.
The one at the Colombian restaurant. Rafael Molina, he lives in L.A. I met him with Israel Garcia. They were on episode 3 or 4. Thanks for the invite. So anyway, he's been doing stand-up in Spanish in L.A. I should make some trips out there. Start and keep going, because it's hard to do it out here because there's no scene here, And the one show that they put together, there's not a lot of people that come to it. So we got to figure out how do we get this going. It might be a location. We might have to go to the east side of Vegas, go to where all the Latinos live and, different sections to like a more central place. That's the thing about Sam Butler. He gave me so much advice about how to get started with the scene. And those are the locations we need to target. But,
and you
maybe
could put a show back in Mexico City. We can go back because I want to go back.
Oh yeah, I loved Mexico
Can you imagine
City.
That being an area where you could get better, do what you just mentioned, where you're like, okay, I went back. I mean, the first time was my first time, and now I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Now we have comics that I could possibly also bring with me that we've been doing it together for a little bit. Yeah. So I see all of this as just more opportunity for you to connect with other comics that maybe you could never ever, because you met quite a bit of comics out there in Mexico City. Yeah. I was so impressed with their English.
They were doing what I was doing, kind of reverse, right?
Right.
So before the Spanish show, I did the English show the same night. There's a scene. There's an English comedy scene. Let me just check the camera. We're recording. Good. There's an English comedy scene because of there's expats. Expats are expatriates, people that have left the United States to live in Mexico. So they need entertainment, right? One of the entertainments is English comedy. And I found this very cool, funny comic named Martin Leon. And he runs I think it's probably the only English comedy shows. He's the one that pretty much controls the scene because there's nobody else doing it.
Yeah. And I thought it was great.
And not that controls, but like he's the only one running the shows, right? He has help from other people too, but it's cool. He puts up a showcase. He also has open mics. The night before, we could have gone to an open mic. He does it at a barbecue place. They have American barbecue in Mexico,
Yeah, the whole concept is so great. There was one audience member that she lived there, and she was dating a guy who was from Dallas or Texas.
Yeah.
And he was able to partake because, this is my comfort zone. I understand. And me too. I'm like, a little piece from home. I feel a little comfortable. And you're right. A lot of the audience member, when I was looking, they were gringos.
Yeah.
That spoke Spanish, but they could understand because they were mainly English, but they had some Spanish jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There because they were Hispanics.
They threw some
Mexicans doing.
I noticed that they threw some Spanglish.
Yeah.
It was this little coffee, like a nice hipster coffee shop, and when we showed up, it was just like 3 people: Martin Leon and 2 other people, and
me and Christian, and that's it.
And I was like, oh shit! I hope we have an audience. Sure enough, people were punctual. When the show was about to start, people started showing up because, like I said, there's not a lot of entertainment in English, so that's their entertainment. It could be date night for that couple that the guy was visiting from Dallas. There was people from Dallas. There was people from Virginia, because I was listening to the other comics. They were doing a little crowd work.
Yes.
There was a lady from New York, a comic from Pennsylvania.
Also a couple, the gringos I'm talking about, that they were living there for 6 months. They just barely had moved there from the States. I forget where they were from.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, whoa. Look, when they said that, I was kind of envisioning myself, me and you, pretending we were just living here for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people working from home, right?
I know.
So there's people working from home making dollars and paying rent in Mexico with their dollars, which is a lot. It goes a long way. So one of the comics, I said Pennsylvania, but she's from Philly. She knows Big J. Okerson. She's Jewish. She was one of the comics. Yeah, and I didn't get to see her because we had to leave to the other show. But I friended her on Instagram. But anyway, she said that her and her wife were in Mexico City for 6 months, and this was their last weekend. They were going back to the States. So it was pretty cool. I'll tell you the experience with that English show. It felt like, oh, it's like Vegas. People from all over the country, all over the world. In Vegas, you come to a show, the road comes to you. You know, it's a saying, you know, you don't go to the road comes to you, because everybody from all over the country comes to you. And I've always said, I've compared it, it's kind of like a cruise ship when you perform in a comedy show in Vegas, except you could be dirty, like a dirty show on a cruise. Because on a cruise, you're going to get people from all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it reminded me of. All of a sudden, at this little tiny coffee shop, everybody just showed up. And it was cool. I was able to relate to everybody in there. And that gave me that confidence boost for the Spanish show. I had that little rush, that high, you know, like, oh, man, this show was fun. Then I go to the Spanish show, and the Spanish show went great as well. Me, I'm just hard on myself. I hated it because it's my set.
I'm going to say it because you're not going to say it.
It was fun.
But there was people around me clapping, applause breaks, just enjoying your set. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, he did a great job translating. Because that's always the hardest part. Mm-hmm. Will this joke in English that I have tried, that I know it may work here, is it going to work here? Mm-hmm. And you didn't have that chance to practice, quote unquote, in another Spanish bar or comedy club. You were doing it in the, you know, comedy club here, the Comedy Store of Mexico, you know, for your first time. And you did awesome for your first time.
And I'm very fortunate because, I mean, I didn't deserve that spot, obviously. But thanks to Sam Butler. Thank you again, Sam Butler.
That's an opinion, what you just said.
I don't deserve it. No, there's other people that deserve to be on it.
Who's to say that who makes that call?
Sam Butler. He put me on the show.
Well, he thought that you deserved it.
Oh, well, thank you, Sam Butler, for thinking that. And I know he does.
His name is riding on this show. Yeah, he could be a nice guy to you, but he could be a nice guy to anybody else.
I know. He
didn't have to put you on the show.
No, he's a great person.
You know who he could have said? He could have said, oh, Freddy, you're in town. I'll get your wife and you on the show and you guys could see me.
Yeah, but I know. But this is what I mean. And I'm telling you, he is one of the main reasons I did it. And one of the reasons I want to start doing Spanish podcasts. He's one of my inspirations because he asked me when he's like, how much time do you want to do? Do you want to do 5? And I'm like, no, I'll do 3.
I'll do a minute. I'll do a Kill Tony minute.
yeah. I'm like, I'll just do 3. I'm just going to do my Oye Papi bit in Spanish. That's it. And this is like back in July. Well, here comes August. We're at the comedy club. The producer, the manager of the show, the showrunner, he's like, hey, Sam, in Spanish, he told me, Sam told me you're only doing about 5. We want to get you to do 7 or 8. You want to do 7 or 8? I'm like, okay, I'll try.
I didn't know that on the show, at the show.
At the show, before the show started, because I was going to be second, because Johnny was going to be first, the host. And then I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do it, but I just said, yeah. I said, fuck it. I'll just do what I can, and maybe some crowd. I don't know what. Next thing you know, when I hit stop on my timer, babe, I did 14 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're like, oopsie.
Yeah. So he told me that, and I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot.
And these comics that you were performing with, this was your first rodeo doing Spanish, you could say. And that didn't stop you because these people around you were doing it for years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Years in Spanish. And they were great. There was girls that they were performing because you don't see, not that you don't see, but in shows. Well, yeah. In one show, I saw 2 comic girls.
Yeah.
Comedian girls, how to pronounce it. But they were fantastic.
Yeah, I have their... So the host was Johnny Mejia. And if maybe we could show their Instagram on the screen or something. Johnny Mejia, he was the host, amazing host too. The way he set up the show in Spanish, and then the way he gave me the introduction and told everybody. I think it's good to be honest and tell people this is his first time doing it in Spanish. He's from Las Vegas. I want you to please show a lot of love. And they were cool. Mm-hmm. And the thing in comedy is they're going to be cool maybe 30 seconds. But if you don't make them laugh, you have to win them over. So it doesn't matter if you're like some kind of whoever, a big shot or whatever. You have to, in comedy, you have to make people laugh. And, you know, he did a great job of just setting it up and keeping the show going. So Johnny Mejia, big shout out to you, bro. We also had Let me see. Felisa Vicente. Felisa Vicente was one of them as well.
Oh, yes.
I think she went up first, or she went up after me.
Yes.
And she's also...
She was great.
Felisa is actually one of the bookers there at the comedy club.
Oh.
So she's not just a comic. She's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
She knows what's up. And then Bren Vila, she's the one that you were talking to after the show.
Oh, yes. My bestie.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You clicked with Bren. She did great. And these are all very funny comics. You know, I like that. This is why I'm being like, I just had no business being there, but at the same time, I did because my friend invited me on the show.
It's not just because your friend invited you on the show,
I know,
baby.
but the caliber in Spanish,
okay,
you know what I mean?
When you compare, I get it. But when you also compare how long you've been doing comedy, how do these people here? Okay, I don't know how long they've been doing comedy. We're not here to compare. But what I'm saying is, let's just put your facts out there.
Yeah.
You've been doing comedy for 11 years. Yes, it hasn't been 11 years in Spanish, but you've been hustling. You know what it takes, the commitment. You're a businessman. You're on time. Like when you sign up, you're committed. You're 100% in. All the time and every time. You have a good rep around the community.
Mm-hmm.
So because the stars aligned, that means
it worked out. And I was lucky and I'm fortunate. That's why.
And you said yes. What is luck? When prep meets opportunity. And that's what you did.
Yeah.
You were prepping. And even though you could say, well, he didn't prep enough. How do you know that?
Yeah.
It was just, he's been doing comedy. He knows Spanish. And I'm sorry that's how they aligned, but that's how they aligned. A door opened and you just walked in.
It's like when opportunity meets preparation, right? Oh, and my apologies.
That's a better way to say it.
My apologies on the name of the comedy club. So the Comedy Store has 3 rooms. It has the belly room, the original room, and the main room.
Oh, in LA, the main comic.
Yeah. So this comedy club.
store.
Yeah. So this comedy club, you know how Sam said it's the Comedy Store of Mexico. The name of this room is called 139, because that's the address of the...
That's the name of the comedy club there.
Yeah. The official name of the room of that comedy club upstairs where we were is 139. So my apologies. I said El Woco earlier.
Oh, okay.
El Woco's downstairs, but it's part of the same
got it.
You see?
Got it. I got it, yeah. So it's like if the comedy store had a room called the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
But it's called the Comedy Store.
Yeah, so like this is the Comedy Store. El Woco, the one I said earlier, would be like the belly room, the smaller room. This would be the main room. 139 is the main room.
Yeah, but it's also the club is called 139.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I messed that up. So my apologies on that. But yeah, 139, if you look it up on Instagram too. So it's like 139.
There you go. If you're in Mexico City, go check out.
And how crazy. Oh yeah, go check out.
139.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan has performed there.
What?
Yeah, big comics. Franco Escamilla. Like this is why it's...
Well, I know Frank. Well, now through you... He's a Spanish comedian, Franco Escamilla, but Jim Gaffigan is a gringo.
I know, but expats, again.
Oh.
He'll announce, and guess what? People are going to buy tickets. If Louis C.K. shows up, if he'll announce it on his... Trust me, people will come out.
I want to look up who's been there that's from the United States or...
Maybe Tom Segura. I don't know.
Tom Segura would be one. Wow. See, you could put a show with him. Why not?
Yeah. Tom Segura has been doing it He's been doing it in Spanish too. So it's... that'd be awesome to see Joey do it too, huh?
Yeah. Well, you were gonna say something that's awesome about the Comedy Store or something.
Oh
about
yeah.
Or not the Comedy Store,
the
but
club.
The club.
So, all we knew was the address that Sam Butler gave us when we were looking for the Airbnb. And you did a great job looking for the Airbnbs. And the one we got towards the end of the week when we were gonna do this show, it was like a block.
Walking
a small block away.
I'm not gonna do it visually for my listeners, but
just
literally
a hop.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here's our Airbnb.
Yeah,
it was so close. I knew it was close, but when we got there,
I didn't know it was that close.
But wasn't it? It was
Nuevo
interesting
Leon,
to
I
me.
think it's Nuevo Leon, right? The
yeah.
name of the street.
Oh yeah, I remember because Leo's our month. But I was so my mouth dropped when we were already staying there for a few days, and we didn't know where you were going to be performing.
Yeah.
Was right there until we went. And I'm like, our room. I can see our Airbnb just right there. But it was fantastic because we didn't have to take an Uber after the show, right? We just went to our room and we partied there with Christian's cousins.
Because we had the address, but we didn't bother to check it again. Because when you looked for the Airbnb, you looked around, you centered around that address. Right.
Well, I mean, with maps, I guess, because I don't really, understand how the closeness of how things are in maps.
Yeah.
But I knew it was fairly close because the dot of where you're going to be performing, where the dot was for our Airbnb, I'm like, for me, it just looked like it would be an Uber trip away. But I didn't think it was super close where it was like walking distance.
I think I recorded video of the Airbnb too. You did a great job finding that. I have a video where I recorded through the upstairs, the downstairs.
All right. Well, let me show you our Airbnb, our second Airbnb. This is the door right here. And you walk into this beautiful open space. Here is the kitchen. Beautiful white, clean kitchen. Then to the corner here, you have your washer and dryer. Very nice. And then this is the dining room table and a nice sitting area. There is 2 actual living rooms. There's one upstairs here and one downstairs. Nice little area here to do what you gotta do. Want to do some work, want to get creative. Bam. And there I am. Hello. All right, and this is my favorite part. Is this, what is this called? This opens up all the way patio. There we go. It's a nice little patio deck. There's also a open deck area or open little patio downstairs in the main room. But I love that. It's dark outside right now, but we are right in the center of the entertainment. So let's go see downstairs. I'm recording now because we just got here. It's about almost midnight. And once we unpack all of our stuff, and by tomorrow, this is gonna be all cray. All right, these stairs. Not as crazy as the other one. The first Airbnb stairs scared me to death. And then the guys over here are chit-chatting. Hello. And got a main living room here. Oh, this is the second living room. TV. And this is my friend's room right here. And bathroom. Bathroom right here. Very nice, very nice. Love it, love it, love it. I love this little sitting area here. And then this is our room. King size bed. And the bathroom. It's just weird that they have a window up here and it's straight up outside. Anyways. Closet. Can somebody say closet? Oh, all right. Nice little closet. And then right here.
These are the fibers of slicing.
You can go here.
And they're hella fat.
And there you go. There's the housey. And there's our house for the next, I think, 3 to 4 days. I love it. I love it. Yay! Mexico City, we are here.
It's such a nice, the first Airbnb we got was amazing too. But this one was so cool. Like at 3 a.m, I'm out there smoking a cigarette and I see a lady walking her poodle. I'm like, Mexico's not as dangerous as everybody says it is, Of course, we're in a nice area. But still, it was so cool. I felt like I was in New York City, like in Brooklyn or something. people walking their dogs, 3 a.m. It's like, what the hell? But yeah, you did a great job, and it was so close to the club. I remember when we walked in, the first thing you see in the Airbnb is the living room, the kitchen. It has a balcony in the front, and then there's a club across the street. It's loud as fuck, super late every night during the week. I'm like, who parties this late during the weekdays?
Now it makes sense. Like, oh, the club was right there, or was that from the comedy club?
No, that was from just like a bar,
Oh.
like a bar that had like dancing, and people were out there like, you know, having their smoke breaks. I was people watching from up there, and I was watching people like kind of argue, get back in the club, and it's like all the way like 2-3 in the morning. I'm like, holy shit. And then you go downstairs to go to the bedrooms, and then there's another like little loft living room downstairs. So that was pretty cool. We're looking at cutie.
And we were right next to a bookstore, which was a little overpriced bookstore.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very popular
Very
bookstore.
popular. I mean, I can see why.
the prices
maybe
were
because
ridiculous.
it has maybe stuff from the States. I don't know.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff from Mexico though, but
True.
but the prices were just like
it was a little
ridiculous.
overpriced. It was American price, even more.
Yeah, you know me. I was with the
Calculator.
like doing my math. I'm like, what the fuck? We bought these. We wanted to play cards. You, me, and Christian, and these cards costed like almost $20 playing cards. What the hell?
Yeah. No, they
Playing
were
cards?
way overpriced. But it was pretty cool to check that out. The other benefit of staying there was we had a supermarket, the Walmart.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool to go and check out.
Yeah,
don't know.
a little neighborhood
Walmart
Walmart.
in Mexico.
We had a Circle K.
You can entertain me with a toy, like just a little simple toy, and just wiggle it in my face, and you can say it's from Mexico, and I'm like, woo, it's not from the States. Thank God that helped me find that place, because I definitely, if we go back, want to stay within that area.
And with that same tenant, no, not tenant, Airbnb person.
Yes, because
That'd be
that
cool.
area was so beautiful.
It was great. It was so close to Chapultepec and Roma Sur, Zona Rosa. We didn't get to go, but there was a lot of nice areas all around it, and just renting a bike. What we did, that was cool.
Oh
The
yeah, the bike
experience.
places, like to rent the bike,
Yeah,
was right across the street from our
and you could
place.
just ride and explore, and you just gotta watch out for potholes.
Oh my gosh. So that's what Mexico City is, I guess, known for, or is a lot of potholes, because just driving through it.
Yeah.
And
Sam Butler has a great joke about that, by the way. But yeah, just driving through it. If you hit a pothole, the potholes are serious. If you hit a pothole in Mexico, your drive is done.
Yeah. And there's people out there, like we were mentioning, like, aren't they afraid of hitting the pothole, then with insurance, or just the accidents because of the crazy driving that they have out there? Oh my gosh. I was closing my eyes, or just...
The driving is crazy, but at the same time, it's so much safer. It's weird.
Why?
Because everybody's riding the brakes. It's people, because of insurance. Yeah, people pay insurance over there, but they know how it's going to work. It's going to take forever for insurance if they fix anything for you. So they care about their property over there. They're not like here in the United States. They're like, I'm just going to ram into him then. I'm just going to run into him because he should have stopped. The stupid road rage we get here in the United States, it's so crazy. I didn't see any road rage over there. Our Uber drivers were always quiet. I didn't see, like, people honk just to let you know, like, hurry up, go or something, but nobody's pissed off like, oh, you were supposed to go. Why did you cut me off? Why are you driving slow? Why are you tailgating me? None of that. If anything, people were driving so crazy, but they're like right away brakes. I was watching them. Their foot's on the brake pedal, a lot.
I know you're watching. You're, especially when driving.
Yeah. And Christian, by the way, Christian did a great job. He adapted so quick.
Yeah, I for sure would not drive there at all. I don't like driving in places that I
wouldn't
don't
drive.
know.
Yeah, I cannot drive
So
over
I'm
there.
glad that Christian was able to
It's insane.
drive that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just repeating. It's insane.
Can I ask you something before I forget?
Oh, yeah. And we just went over an hour.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we were almost at the few points that I want to talk about. That's why I want to like, oh my gosh, before I forget. So I just want to tell you, baby, that I'm very proud of your commitment to do something that is out of your wheelhouse. That's very scary, that you in your mind could have told yourself that I don't deserve it. What am I doing here? And I feel like that's a lot of people that are fearful to do something, that they're always telling themselves, who am I? I'm not ready. I'm not enough. But here in this podcast, here moving forward in my life, and you with just what you do, is inspire me to just go after things, no matter how ready you feel you are. If the opportunity presents itself, the universe, God has led you here. He will fulfill and help you out to the end. And you just got to just show up. And yes, you're going to replay everything like, oh, I messed up. I did this, but you did it. And at the end of the day, that's always inspiring me with your craft, because I look up to people that do your field in a sense of going on stage and doing something so scary in front of strangers. Oh. It's okay. Pause. Because you're so great at networking, you got this show together at LA Comedy Club with Luis J. Gomez, and I forget the other Aaron Bergs.
Aaron Berg.
Oh, wow. That was on the fly. I said Bergs, but Aaron Berg. So you got...
And Zach Amico.
Yes, I'm sorry. How can I forget?
Yeah.
That was awesome that you guys were able to put together a show. How was that?
So Luis J. Gomez and Aaron Berg, they were going to go on tour. They're doing this right now before Skankfest happens in October. And they're going to do most of America, East Coast, the South, Midwest, West Coast. Because I looked at the schedule and I knew the stops they were going to do, I hit up Luis and I sent him a direct message and I told him, hey, I know a room. I have a room, LA Comedy Club. And before I even reached out to him, I reached out to Matt Chavez, the owner who books it. And I told him who these guys were. They have a following. I think this would be a good opportunity for the club to bring comics that actually put asses in seats, as opposed to a rotational show, which is great too. And we had the opportunity to do it on a midnight show. So I reached out to Luis. Now, Luis, being the busy man he is, I didn't hear back from him. Well, he was asking around about where would be a good place to perform in Vegas. My friend Tino, who was in that video where he kicks the heckler, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, Luis is looking for a place to perform in Vegas. And I'm like, I told him already. I reached out. I got a room. Let's do this. So thanks to Tino putting that, because I had already, I'm like, okay, well, he probably found a spot already. Thanks to Tino reaching out to me, I reached back out to Luis, and he responded and got him in touch with Matt, the booker. They made the deal, the door deal. Next thing you know, now they're adding LA Comedy Club as a stop on their show. And I was super excited. I'm like, this is the first show I actually produce on my own. Like, I produce.
High five to you.
Thanks, man.
It's not the last one either.
No, absolutely not. I produce shows with my friend Spiro, showcases, stuff like that. But this is the first one I produced where I'm very proud that it was somebody that actually, we didn't have to rely on comics going up like a bringer show to bring people. No, they brought their own people because all they had to do is talk about it on the podcast. That's how big their following is. And they brought a bunch of people to the club, and they were all listeners of the podcast. And Luis was nice. He was like, hey, you want to host? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll host.
Like, yeah, duh.
So then, so I got to do, well, it's funny about the host. Let me clear that part up because their producer, editor, Paco, who started in Vegas, he was on the road with them. So he's like, hey, you're on the show. I'm like, yeah, are you on the show? He's like, yeah, I'm hosting. I'm like, oh, I was hosting. He's like, do you want to host? I'm like, no. You host. I prefer, I'm always hosting. I prefer if somebody like goes out, because hosts for the listeners. that don't never been to a comedy show, hosting is one of the hardest things to do in a comedy show because you're going out there to a cold crowd. And
you have to, make sure you do a good job so that it's like a domino effect. Then that they're ready to go for the rest of the comics.
Right. So I was super happy that Paco's like, yeah, I'll host. So people already know who Paco is. The fans of the show know who Paco is. They don't know who I am. So it worked out great. Paco did a great job. I go out there, had fun. Zach Amico, Aaron, Lewis, and then Lewis and Aaron come back out and do like crowd work. It was a fucking amazing show.
It was so cool, that picture you posted of you and Louis J. Gomez doing the sign. What's it called? I
did a heart right now. It's like this. Oh, it's like this.
What do you?
It's like this is their sign. I don't know if Lewis came up with it.
It's like a diamond or what?
It's like an upside down heart.
Oh, I'm
so
doing it wrong.
Instead of doing this, you're putting your thumbs like that.
Oh.
And kind of going like that. You know how
we should do that for our thumbnail.
Yeah. Jay-Z has the rock. The diamond.
Okay, so his is the diamond. Yeah, I
So Lewis has this for
Okay.
Legion of Skanks. And it's a podcast that I've been a fan of for a long time.
Yeah, you introduced me to them. I would have known nothing about any of them. Skankfest, all of that, but because of you, through through podcasting and the fact that it's not a West Coast podcast, it's an East Coast.
It's been growing, and it's been growing because Ari is the one. I think I like to say that Ari was the bridge from the West Coast to the East Coast. When he moved to the East Coast and he became friends with Big J, Okerson, Dave Smith, and Louis J. Gomez, it just introduced this whole new world. And at first, the West Coast was huge on podcasts, and they're still huge. But then the East Coast, now I feel like most of the podcasts I listen to are East Coast.
They're rising up.
Yeah, Bobby Kelly, all those guys.
Speaking of Big J and Ari, we're gonna see them tomorrow.
Yeah, we bought tickets at Wise Guys for tomorrow, so I'm excited for that.
You know what that reminds me? It just not reminds me, but it gets me excited for like the kickoff, almost like a little taste of a pre-show that we're getting, a pre-show to the pre-show of Skankfest.
Yeah,
because Skankfest is happening in Vegas, October.
Yeah,
I think 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, and it's
around the corner. And guess who is going to be performing in Skankfest? Freddy Correa.
Yeah.
Yay. So you got into Skankfest, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy and
we
excited.
just found out yesterday too.
We just found out. So for Skankfest, the comics, if you want to perform there for like a local stand-up comic, or not local, just any comic, stand-up comic, you have to submit a video to request to be a performer there.
Yeah.
And we just found out yesterday that you're going to be one of the performers on there.
Yeah. This is the second.
He's excited too.
This is the second time I'm part of the lineup. I've been to Skankfest 4 times. Houston, they didn't really use other than local talent and regulars, because it was like after the pandemic. We had been waiting 2 years for the one in Houston, but I was part of 2019. And in 2018, when I met Big J, he put me up on a showcase on that one, and I ate shit. I bombed so bad on that one. But then 2019, I redeemed myself. But it's still it's a great experience. Skankfest is not just a comedy festival; it's a party. It's a cool hang. They have it's crazy. They have boxing, they have MMA, they have
concert, almost like
face painting. It's a festival. It's
people getting tattoos.
Yeah, they had rides last time. They had some rides. People get tattoos. They have a roast. They have
naked roast.
Oh, the naked roast.
I talked about that. I'm not gonna. Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Of course.
And they have bands. There's gonna be bands. There's Crack Amico's gonna perform at Skankfest. So yeah, I'm excited about this one.
Congratulations, baby.
Thank you. And it's here at our hometown. So.
I know. Out of all places, I'm like, please let him be, get in Vegas, and everything worked out. And if you look up the lineup, your name pops up there, and I get just even more excited. It's official.
Yeah.
So that's going to be super excited because not only are you a performer, what a cool thing about being able to get admitted to be a performer in Skankfest is that you get the artist pass or access. You get to the green room, you get to hang out with the comics, you get a little more amenities. You just get to see the experience in a different lens, backstage almost. So just the ability that gives you to hang out with other comics that normally you would never be able to talk to and meet.
Yeah.
All of that. I'm just so excited for you to experience that here in Vegas.
Well, 2019 in New York City, when I was hanging out in the green room, I got to, I didn't want to bug him, but I got to be like shoulder to shoulder with Bill Burr, while he's chatting it up, and I'm just there like a fly on the wall. I was just kind of like
bump into him to like accidentally get some luck from him.
Well, I mean,
oops, sorry. Hi, Bill Burr.
They were giving us massages. There's massages. There was these cool like tubs of ice with beers on this side, seltzers on this side, hard liquor over here. They had baggies where you could take a swag bag with a bunch of stuff from their providers, their sponsors like Infinite CBD, and Louis C.K. showed up, so I got to shake his hand. He was hanging out with Joe Liss. So yeah, you're right. It's like you're hanging out with these people you don't normally get to hang out with, but this is not just for the performers. Anybody who goes to Skankfest can hang out with them because they're out there in the crowd.
Yeah, you're right.
They're out there hanging out.
Just hanging out.
So it's not just the green room. This is why it's such a great experience for anybody that's a fan of comedy and podcasts. They're out there just shooting the shit with everybody,
You're right. Like Miss Pat, when she was on the street, just going up to the food truck, getting some food, and then she was waiting for her food in the middle, well, not in the middle of the street, but it was blocked off. But she's...
And some of her entourage, they just brought her a chair in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
She sat down with
No, but you wouldn't see that anywhere.
No.
Usually you would have maybe someone get the food for her. Or be surrounded with 10 security guards. But anybody couldn't come up to her right there.
People would come up and she would be like, "Thank you, baby." Like she was like so sweet. And it was so funny because she was just literally in the middle of the street in a chair eating her food. Yeah,
because this was a place where you just walk through, and then she just didn't want to wait. No. We talked about this. We're like, Miss Pat in the middle of the street. Miss Pat.
In the middle of the street. Miss Pat.
Well, guess what? Freddy is gonna be in Skankfest. Freddy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in Skankfest Vegas.
Hell yeah.
So I can't wait to just let people know.
Should I get a tattoo?
Our experience of that.
Should I get a tattoo?
Your first tattoo in Skankfest?
No,
go ahead.
No.
I'm like, I don't know, but okay.
You excited?
I'm very excited. Yeah. I am very excited just to experience it again with you and Sammy and our friends, because the same group really that went to Houston we're gonna experience it in Vegas as well, but that you're gonna be performing this time, and Annie Letterman's gonna be there, Dave Attell's gonna be there. Those are my two, like a guy and girl, my favorite comics right now. So I mean, there's so many more comics, Joe Liss, Mark Norman, that are gonna be there too, that I'm super, super excited just to see, because Houston, I think, made it more excited for me than New York. Because with Houston, I really took the list or the lineup very seriously, meaning I'm like, I'm going to see this person. I don't care who comes with me or not. I really want to just take advantage of the comics that are going to be there. So I'm going to do this the same time in Vegas, because with New York, I really didn't do that. I really just kind of went with the flow, and it's okay.
Went with the flow, yeah.
And it's okay. You have to do that to kind of see which experience you want to have.
I was proud of you that you're like, no, I'm going to see Miss Pat. I'm going to see the shows I want to see, because there was one day where I was hurting so bad because my own fault. I stood up way too late drinking, and next thing you know, I missed half of the shows during the next day at Skankfest South. And you took an Uber. You went there.
I had to take an Uber twice because of my
I wasn't going to mention.
Stupid ass. I already
I was
mentioned
not going
it.
to mention that part.
I already mentioned it. It's okay. I forgot the most important thing you need for the festival is your lanyard to let them know you're in there.
I think if you just would have walked in, you would have been fine.
No.
No one's gonna.
There was somebody in the front door, and then she was just looking.
No,
she would have stopped me and say, "Hey, where's your thing?" And I would have gone,
Then you go back.
No, I couldn't.
You could have gone through.
No, if it was maybe if she was distracted and she was talking to somebody, I was like, okay, going in. But she was straight up like looking at everybody going in and looking at their thing. So I'm like, no. I was studying her. I'm like, how is she really checking? So no, I won't forget it this year for sure.
You should have been like, look, Bob Saget, and then walk in. Oh, he was there, by the way. Bob Saget and Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
Well, baby, I thank you so much for coming back with me here. You're my all-time favorite returning guest. I am so excited for you to what's to come because I know you have things in your mind that you want to do aside from comedy, whether, coming back to bring your podcast, the project that you and I are thinking about doing together. So I know that amazing things are coming both our way. And thank you, baby, for being here.
Let's do it again, and we'll talk about the next project.
Ooh, stay tuned for that.
Thanks for having me on the show. And I want to do this again. Do you like the setup?
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. And you did. This wouldn't have been possible without you because this is not my normal setup. As you guys know, this is not the scene that I usually do my podcast in. But baby, you're amazing. You know technology, and you were able to set it up here, and it's amazing. Now I can have future guests.
We should bring your brick wall over here.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a flag with the wind from the AC. It's just going to move like this.
Hey, we all start somewhere. I love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Oh, let's do our shot.
Oh, my gosh. We haven't taken our shot. Our shot for doing the podcast.
Yes.
And for you.
Video podcast.
Oh, yes. Our first official face-to-face video podcast.
Right. We'll take it with the listener. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.